In the United States, young people are dramatically less happy than they were 15 years ago. In this global rankings of happiness change for people under 25, the United States ranks near the bottom. And at the same time, social media use has exploded. And the connection is clear. More use, less satisfaction, less connection, more anxiety. Gen Z is still showing up in stores. In fact, they're choosing them. 62% of Gen Z purchases still happen in physical retail. So they're not just shopping, they're seeking something. And the World Happiness Report just told us what it is. So Gen Z's return to stores is not a retail trend, it's a response. The World Happiness Report for 2026 was just published, and as always, I'll link it in the show notes. It's one of the most comprehensive studies of human well-being in the world. 136 countries, hundreds and thousands of respondents, decades of data. And buried inside it is something that every retail executive needs to sit with. In the United States, young people are dramatically less happy than they were 15 years ago. Not a little less, dramatically. The kind of decline researchers describe as population level shift. And the primary driver, the same platforms your customers used to find your store. I'm Ron Thurston. This is Retail in America. Every episode, I give you 3 human truths about retail, about technology, and about the people caught in between. As always, every stat I reference will be linked in the show notes. And if you want these episodes delivered straight to your inbox, you can subscribe at ronthurston.com. So I want to give you a few numbers, and I want you to actually sit with them. In this global rankings of happiness change for people under 25, the United States ranks near the bottom. That's directly from this new World Happiness Report. And at the same time, social media use has exploded. And the connection is clear. More use, less satisfaction, less connection, more anxiety. Now here's the part that matters for you. Gen Z is still showing up in stores. In fact, they're choosing them. 62% of Gen Z purchases still happen in physical retail, and 42% of mall visits are considered social in nature. So they're not just shopping, they're seeking something, and the World Happiness Report just told us what it is. So let me jump into this episode's 3 human truths. The first one, let's talk about retail. So Gen Z's return to stores is not a retail trend, it's a response. It's a response to a loneliness problem, to a connection problem, to a belonging problem. The report shows us that feeling like you belong is one of the strongest predictions of happiness. And when belonging increases, life satisfaction increases dramatically. In fact, belonging is 6 times more powerful than reducing social media use. 6 times. Now that's, again, directly from the World Happiness Report. So when someone walks into your store and your team makes eye contact, smiles, asks real questions, is curious, that's not a transaction. That's a belonging moment. And it matters more than you've been told. Because I've spent 30 years saying that the frontline teams are what really matters. But this data reframes that completely. Because they're not just driving sales, they're delivering connection in a world that is increasingly missing it. Let's go to human truth number 2 and talk about the platforms, because this is where it may get uncomfortable. The same platforms driving traffic are driving dissatisfaction. Now, not all technology, but a very specific kind, the kind built on comparison. Endless scrolling, curated lives, and the research is clear. Communication platforms can support well-being, but algorithm-driven content platforms erode it, especially for Gen Z. In fact, many young users say they wish those platforms didn't even exist, but now they can't leave because everyone else is still there. Now, think about what that means. Your customer walks into your store after spending hours in a digital environment that made them feel worse about themselves. Now they're standing in front of your team. Your Instagram worked. Your TikTok worked because they showed up. Now the technology strategy should stop and the human strategy should begin. And lastly, human truth number 3. Let's talk about the people caught in between. The frontline worker is no longer just part of the retail experience. They are part of the solution here to something much bigger, a human problem, a connecting problem, and a well-being problem. Because the research shows that people who feel socially connected are more resilient, they have more trust, and they navigate the digital world better. And your frontline associate can create that moment, not through a script, not through a training module, through presence and through empathy and through curiosity. And the same thing I write about in Retail Pride and the same foundation behind Human Pride. So let me make this real. Customer walks in, your associate looks up, makes eye contact, gauges and listens, stays present for 20 minutes. That's not a sale, that's a reset. So let me be direct. Gen Z is walking into your stores, less connected, less certain, less supported than any generation before them. And your store, at its best, is one of the few places left where that can change. And that's not a small responsibility. That's a defining one. And we are investing billions into technology and automation and AI and efficiency. But the real opportunity is human, because what they came for cannot be automated. They didn't come for speed. They didn't come for efficiency. They came for a person. And your job is to make sure that there's one there to meet them. I'm Ron Thurston. This is Retail in America. If this episode made you think differently, please share it with someone. And if you want to go deeper, talk about Retail Pride and Human Pride are both linked in the show notes. Until next time, invest in your people because they are your strategy.